Boom. Going hot in five, four. Hi, everybody. This is the one and only Mr. Dennis Diaz, Commander in Chief of the Diaz Task Force that rescues men, women, and children from sex and human trafficking. And if you guys have been listening to the podcast Unchained, Voices of Survivors, and also The Hunt, you guys know that Monday we started up with Nina, and oh my God, when ain't she a dynamo? Like all this information and everything that she had gone through on Wednesday, and the conversation continued. And today is Friday, and today, for one more time, we have the one and only this series special that we did all this week. We have the one and only Nina. Nina, welcome back to the show, man. You are unbelievable.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and be able to work and collaborate with like minded individuals so that we can combat this evil that's happening in our society, in our communities, in our country, and across the globe. And it's not just about the corruption because it also starts in our homes. We need to equip our parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, family members about this subject so that they can also be vigilant, to be aware and know how to report these things and get the attention that it needs so that we can get it at the core. Like I said, the hydra exists, and so we get this one pocket over here and this one over here and this one over here, and it just grows back. So if we can do it at the elementary level within the families, then we can definitely make a huge dent into this human trafficking arena and have more eyes and more people aware so that they know what to look for and how to report. Because believe it or not, we are all in danger at some level from these evil people because they exist, and they're not all offenders where it's easily to go and look up and verify. um, you know so I'm excited. After we had done our first show, apparently Arizona has now called a second meeting at the Senate, and it'll be on
Oh, nice.
Monday. Yes, Monday at 10 a.m. And they are addressing the corruption in DCS. So I will be there, and I will be presenting Leslie's Law. I will be speaking about how we can offer solutions for accountability. And I'm also going to talk about the Diaz task force and all the amazing work you guys are doing, and you guys aren't
Thank you.
afraid to go into these dangerous situations and get these children and vulnerable adults out. And then we can start to heal them, break their cycles, address the trauma, and get them back into the most productive life that they can possibly lead. Because, like you and I talk about, a lot of them don't make it out.
Absolutely. And it's so sad that to see these people that got so much to live for, especially children, so much potential just going to waste because of this demonic people that are out here raping the children and doing a lot of bad things. And the people that needs to be held accountable for doing the wrong things. I don't care if it's the police department. I don't care if it's DCF, CPS,
Right.
as some people call it. It doesn't matter where it is. Of course, there is plenty of good people, but the bad people and the people that are doing the wrong things, we need to change that.
Yes. That's correct. So it doesn't matter what agency or what authority they have, how much money they have, they need to be held accountable and they need to be prosecuted for their crimes. The sex offender release program, it is lacking. Okay. Uh,
Mm.
if they have somebody that they have decided has been rehabilitated after their prison sentence and they're allowed to come back out, I don't care if they're a level one, a level two, a level three, they need to be GPS monitored for a minimum of 10 years. Not no 2 years and you do good, because these people are patient.
Oh
They
yeah,
will wait. And as soon as they see that window of opportunity, they are going to grab it.
absolutely. Just like the groomers
Yes,
still wait years
years.
grooming them just little by little, so it
Yes,
doesn't it becomes normal to them. They got all
yes,
the patience in the world to do this sex stuff,
yes,
especially the really good ones. They'll just simply wait.
yes. In fact, oh, it makes me almost like sick. Like, I want to throw up and I have to put on my mask, is what I call it, right? And to um, speak to the father of my son, get the information that I need so I can figure out where the program's lacking, what the officers can do better, so that I can apply the solutions that I have been studying and researching that I know will work. I've seen it work in other places. I know that they will work if we implement it. So he was telling me he was upset because he doesn't want to have to do the group therapy.
Mm,
Listen, you have a problem, and if you don't take accountability for it, then you will never address the issue, and that means that you will harm again. So it doesn't
mm,
matter if you were groomed and raised, even more so because of what you went through growing up with his parents that have my son. I said, because of what you went through and how you were raised, that's called grooming and conditioning. So it's stuck in your brain. The only way to combat it is to be able to talk about it, get treatment, and not regular therapy. You have to be with a certified individuals that will talk about the issues. You have to admit that this is what's been going on. You can't hide from it. The more you try to hide from it, the more that, like he says, that beast inside him grows, like Tank and I talked about. The more deviance, the lack of impulse comes in. So I says, I don't feel sorry for you. Whatever the circumstances are on this case, that they lied and there wasn't enough evidence, it doesn't matter. You still had a previous charge. You still had failure to register. You still have a sexual misconduct out of Minnesota. I says, that is enough that you need treatment. And the more that you don't do it, the more you're going to have problems. So if he's already told his probation officer he doesn't want to do it and he hasn't been engaging in the service, why do they wait to violate? Why do they give them time? It should be an automatic, okay, you missed a meeting, you're going back in for 60 days, 90, whatever it is, right? So we also need to address the fact that our probation officers, they need to be more firm on their compliance. They cannot give them chances. These are master manipulators, crocodile
absolutely.
tears, you know? They practice in the mirror. They're psychopaths.
Absolutely, and the one thing that they like to do to see with how much they can actually get away with, so they can build from that and just keep
Yes.
going. That's why you gotta have a zero tolerance policy and be anal with them. Because at the same, if you don't, they're gonna start to slip in and trying to
Yeah,
find
they'll
a
be like little
way.
snakes. Yeah.
Absolutely. So good. I'm happy that you actually. Oh, is that gonna be actually on any TV network or anything? Can I would love to see it.
Okay, so I do know that every time that they have a political meeting like this, it's aired on some channel. Uh,
Okay, that's gonna
and I
be
know
good.
that it is filmed because I know they did it at Senator Farnsworth's meeting, and I'll find out where you can access it, because I have never even seen the one when I went to in 2019. It was about the missing children. So that was the meeting I shut down with my logics and analysis that it was corrupt, and it should not have taken this many years to get the lawmakers and activists going, that they finally have admitted that it's true. So I'm wondering, all these years, these 7 years, what investigation, what reports have now come out that show Emily Pike's murder has made a huge ripple effect to get all of these things out in the open. And it's sad that such a tragedy had to happen to a child in order for us to expose this, so that we can get in there and get these solutions and get these children safe, because they are not safe. And now that the exposure's open and they know, the traffickers are going to be at an all-time high to get the ones that they've already been having their eye on. So we need better security for these children right now. So I was thinking that maybe I need to email the DA and say, hey, you need to have a private security firm, right? To go in and start shadowing these facilities and these workers and these foster placements to make sure that not one other child gets taken or abused. And let's get this law passed. Let's get
Absolutely.
Leslie's law passed.
Absolutely. And the Diaz task force will gladly be an independent investigator and actually do the whole nine yards. Make sure
Yes,
that it's going. I will interview everybody. I make sure there is law and order and the safety of the children that are in these custodies are actually well taken care of. And whoever is not is abusing them and all this, they will be held liable right there on the spot. No time, no patience for nonsense. That's what we need. We need somebody independent, social the DS task force or similar, that is gonna go out there and set things right.
yes,
As
I agree. And that's why I was telling you I would like something that I can print out so that I can say the Diaz task force is an independent contractor that does investigations, rescues, and can we also offer security measures, right?
absolutely.
So
Yes,
that we can offer um, to go in and secure a location, implement the cameras, implement a security person who is trained, and that person, and then we can have another consultant, whether it be me or somebody else, go in and start training them on the red flags, what to look for, and how to keep these children safe.
that will be an amazing collaboration. Amazing. Imagine that, and we literally making things happen and make sure that everything goes the right way. And there's accountability too in that matter. For example, just because I'm doing this doesn't make me better than anybody. If I'm doing something wrong, then I'm gonna be held accountable as well. And
Right.
so on and so on. So each organization needs to have that sense of security that listen, if you mess up and you're doing things wrong, then you're gonna be held accountable too, just like them. That way there's
Yes.
check and balances and nobody try to slip through the cracks.
Yes. And every organization like Diaz Task Force, um, Shockwave Defense, which I'm
Mhm.
going to ask Michael Jordan um, if he also does this aspect, because I know he does security and he's a private bodyguard, and he also combats this human trafficking issue as well.
Love it.
All of us together, we can build an awesome program and team. And we know that we all vet everybody. We make sure that the people that we work with do not have these behaviors and they are willing to put their life on the line. We are not afraid to speak out because what are we without the security of our children for the future? Our
Absolutely.
our world is going to be insane if our children are learning that it's okay to hurt others in this manner. None of
Uh,
us will be safe 20, 30 years from now.
Especially nowadays with social media, and now they even put it into games as well. I was
Yeah.
talking to you moments ago, and this game, I'm actually gonna pull it up really quick because I think it fits right in. The game actually been uh banned in several countries. But the game itself is called No Mercy. Right now, it has over 137 million downloads. And I'm just gonna read some of the highlights. So, No Mercy appear on a PC gaming platform, Steam. Now, Steam did take it out, but you can still download it in different other networks as well. And this was last month. The game came out not last month and already has over 137 million downloads. The game allowed players to control the character who rapes, tortures, and kills women. And that is exactly what the game is about. It's like Grand Theft Auto, where you can actually hurt a couple hookers and so on. And that's
Right.
bad enough. But this game, literally, the whole game is you get out there and you rape. your mom, you rape your aunt, you rape your sisters. You It's all about raping women, and the more you rape and torture this woman, the more points you get. Like literally, this game, to whoever did this game, number one, it's a sequel, and we need to conduct a really good investigation
Oh,
towards anybody that is behind this game, especially the people that pay for it. Um,
that's what I was going to say. We need a real good cybersecurity expert and hacker, okay? So we can find out who these 137 million people are and
because
monitor them on the web.
absolutely, I mean, it
It's,
was banned in the UK, Canada, Australia, Australia. It's still legal in the United States.
we need to get this off the market, and that way anybody that continues so people might have downloaded, like, let's get the benefit of the doubt that there are still good people out there, and so they downloaded it just to see what this game was like, right? And as soon as they start engaging into the play, they realize that the whole game is structured around rape, incest, and harming women for points. They might
Literally,
say, yeah, I'm not ever playing this game again, and they like don't, they don't interact with it anymore, and they move on to the next game. The ones that are playing it every day, all day, wow, we have a problem, especially if they're young. I just read recently that a 10-year-old boy was
hmm
playing a video game, and he had asked his mom to buy him a new console or a new something new to do with his gaming,
okay,
and she said no, and he went and got her gun and shot her and killed her. He's only
get
10.
out of here.
I swear. So his addiction and the way that the the way our brain works at 10 years old, he doesn't even know, like, his reality is that TV game, that gaming experience. So he kills people all the time on that game, and they morph back. They come back to life. So he doesn't understand that what he's playing in real life, what the difference is. He's only 10. People say he knew what he was doing. Yes, he knew the concept that he was going to hurt her. He knew that. Did he totally understand and grasp the concept that she wouldn't come back? Probably not. He's only 10. So do I believe he needs punishment and treatment? Absolutely. But prison is not the answer for this young boy. He needs a psychiatric mental hospital, and he can get a life sentence for that. And if he ever does rehabilitate, they can go in front of the court and present his case again. But he needs institutionalization. And this is what's happening in our society, is a lot of these children, especially if they're on the spectrum and they get addicted to these games and they're playing these games, it becomes their reality, and then they act out. You ever watch, you have your child and you play what was that real popular one with the shark, baby shark? Everybody was singing that song, and it was like, yeah, it became like this great thing.
That
Like,
is still does, yeah.
okay. So you can imagine if our children watch something that's entertaining and it raises their dopamine and it gets their neurons going. Well, the same thing applies with gaming. And you have children now that will mimic what they are playing. And if that parent is not a proactive and interactive parent with that child, for one, monitoring and making sure it's age appropriate. Number two, making sure they're not on that game 24/7. Uh,
Just
right. And making sure that they understand the difference between the gaming experience and reality.
absolutely. And the thing is, emphasizing also on what you said, the one of the problems is that this game people can download, children can download it from the age of 12. So even if they don't know and they think that it's just a video game and this and that, maybe they like horror movies. You can play Chucky or what the
Right.
case is, and you're not gonna go out there and try to be Chucky. But the more you play it and the more you get into doing this stuff, the more they're gonna think like it's okay to rape women. It's
Right.
okay to torture women, and so on and so on. And some people, as I deal with hundreds of thousands of people, um, the thing is that not everybody thinks the same, and some people, especially mentally, are weaker than others. So they can start getting into into make the game part of their own, and just get out there and continue to keep doing this, even if they started as innocent. Oh, it's just a game, whatever the case is. Or maybe for some adults it's a fantasy. At least I'm doing it in the video game and not doing it in real life. But chances are that since that now you got a way to act on it, there's a big possibility, statistically wise, that you're gonna go out there, and it's easier for you to do it to somebody else. So this
Right.
type of stuff definitely gotta be stopped. And the people that, number one, the producers that actually pay for this, the investors, that and everybody that is involved into creating these type of games, there should be some really good investigation, a really good investigation on all this, especially to get that level of detail and the whole nine yards. Over 137 million downloads. Those people need to be checked out too, because this is dead wrong.
Right, they should be red flagged. So whenever we have something, like, I'm all for our constitutional rights, yet when we as a society as a whole have a problem like this, we need to have monitoring on our internet. It's a great tool for us, yet it also has a lot of dangers, and if we don't have some type of a way to be able to monitor, then we won't know what to do and how to go about so that we can prevent more crimes from happening. And I will never understand how anybody could put their money into promoting and building and making this game become a reality. Those people are sick.
Absolutely. I mean, some might be just thinking about the money, but okay, so you already, even if the game, let's say for numbers sake, because I am not promoting this game. Let's say this game is $30. You got 137 million people as of now that downloaded it. You can just simply multiply that. Even if it's for money's sake, it's still, so that tells me that you're willing to put money in, instead of worrying and being concerned about the harm of women.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I take the money, but there might be repercussions of people actually playing this game, and doesn't matter what happens to women, and screw them anyways, because you just want the money. So there's really no excuse why all this game and all of it should have been developed, especially the way they did it at all.
Right, like you said, the developers should have never even. So the man had an idea, right? Or whoever had the idea, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna make this game, and then they create it and they build the story. As soon as they go to the developers and the creators and the content creators to get it all done, they should have been like, oh no, we're not gonna,
Hell no.
because they have to actually go in there and program to make it come to life, build the characters, build the victims, build the weapons. And that is disgusting. It is sick. It is wrong. I It boggles my mind at how many people are this evil, and they know better. They know that this is going to cause problems. So my son is 20 years old. He works a full-time job. He knows how I feel about the gaming, right? So he asked me, "Mom, this summer, one of, I think it's like one of his Black Ops, one of his military games that he likes to play, right? Yeah, war games. um, he says, "Can I buy a game that's coming out?" He asks permission before he buys it. Now he's a grown adult and he's a good kid. I don't have any problems with him. Yet he knows that it is still a struggle because he is on the spectrum. That I have to pull him off that game and be like, "Hey, let's do the floors, or let's cook dinner together. We got to go walk the dogs, and we got to do these things." And and he gets a little frustrated, and I always tell him, "You better nip that in the bud, because I'll just unplug
No,
you." Like, like, we're not gonna argue about this. You are now a grown man, and you need to learn how to do your time management. And going, "I'm just as bad, son." I said, "I'll be on my device looking, reading, and searching, right?" I said, "So I get that it's very addicting." I said, so we have to be mature and realize that that's a weakness. So we have to work, whether we set an alarm, whether we put up a daily task list and make sure all our things are done. And then that's our reward.
Hmm.
And he knows I don't like those kinds of games. He wouldn't even, I bet you if I ask him, he would say, oh, I read about that, Mom. I wouldn't play that. You know,
You should definitely ask them.
I am going
Uh,
to
but
ask him when he gets home
but
tonight.
the
Have
thing
you heard
about
of
it,
this game?
yeah, and not only that, if anything, I would like to have your son join us in the Marine Corps. He like the battle
Yeah.
game. Send them in. We need
Yeah.
a good men
I'll
and women out here.
I'll ask him what his handle is and I'll send it to you because he's really good. He's won some tournaments and competitions on the internet. And he was also voted on one of the listening apps for music. He was the number one listener in the United States for 1 year. So like I understand, especially when you have special needs or children on the spectrum or adults on the spectrum, devices are a huge part of their life. So it's important for us to implement good gaming experiences, good learning programs out there, good music that they can connect with to balance out their emotions. You'll have less outbursts, better communication with your children. There are good tools that you can use with that. It's up to us to learn what they are and to have it available so that if somebody Googles it, that's the first options that come up. Here's a good app to do. Here is a great learning tool that you can use. Here's a good one that has timing on it. I even believe some of our smart TVs that they have like automatic times. So we were also talking like in the transitional living for sex offenders. Well,
Mm.
they should have like that lock on the internet. They should also be able to the probation officer, the police, the feds, all of the every any agency and task force should be able to link in to that IP and monitor what they're doing.
Mhm.
It should that data should be uploaded so that you just have to pull up the file and say, okay, April 3rd, he was on the internet, and these are all the things he searched and Googled. And the minute that you see something that's a red flag, for one, if they're not supposed to be on the internet, it shouldn't it you should be picking them up and taking them in for their violation.
Yep, as simple as that.
Because how can we say we're going to reform them and we don't hold them accountable and being compliant? That's what these officers get paid to do. That's their job.
Mhm.
And so I don't care if they have 10 of them or 15 of them. Every day, you have your worksheet on what you do. That should be at the top of the list to ensure that they are complying. And when they're not complying, you don't give them chance after chance. This is why we still have this problem today, is because they do get all these chances. You cannot let them manipulate you. That's why training also should be an ongoing thing. So that's why we cannot defund our police departments. We cannot defund our agencies because they need constant, back to they need constant training to stay on top because criminals are very smart. Because why? They hyperfixate and they focus on their what it is, right? So if it's an offender, they hyperfixate on their deviancy and they can't control their impulses. So what can we do to stay on top of it so we can make sure that our society and our communities are safe? Well, we need to be have better training, we need more access, and we need to be firm in their compliance and in their violations,
Absolutely.
period. And I tell this to my ex all the time. Well, you know how I feel. If I was your probation officer, you'd already be sitting in the tank. One, because I would have ensured that I'm running your name and checking to make sure you don't have any phones because you're not allowed internet access. And whenever you have somebody that comes in and they have rules to follow and they want to already get a privilege, right? So he's been asking for internet access to go back to school, is why he wants it, is what he says, right? So Well, when you have somebody who's asked you 5 times for internet access, that's a red flag to say, hey, I better monitor him and make sure that he's not doing it behind my back.
Absolutely. And for example, if they say, hey, it's to go to school, look for a job, then there's guidelines that you can put to make sure that that's exactly what's happening. And if you try to go left or right, then it's gonna get blocked completely. Um, that will
Correct.
be one way that we can actually help the situation. And but it's really important that all this started happening quickly, and there is a sense of urgency of getting this done. So the thing is, the realistic part on it is that these kids are still getting raped right now. They're getting beaten. They are in some foster care place, foster home, whatever you want to call them, and they're
Yeah,
getting
it
abused
doesn't
right
stop.
now. It's insane.
Y-
Even with your son, he's still out there, and then would love
You saw
everybody
that
would.
bruise on his cheek. So I showed you the one that when he had the black eye. That was when he was 3, and that was at a DCS meeting. So that was when I uncovered the rash in his genital area because he was being molested, and that's when my 2 children were showing up with black eyes.
Such a young boy,
Years
man.
later,
Like he
there's
has a lot of
still
potential, man.
there is still bruises on his face, and my son is trying to burn down the house with him inside because he's already, like Tank and I were talking about, wanting to commit suicide and kill them all to get away from the abuse. My oldest son did the same thing. So you know that my youngest son remembers in his core memories that his brother that loved him and tried to protect him and took beatings for him and got choked out for him so that my youngest son wasn't getting beat and tortured as much. My oldest son would get in the way of all those punches. So he remembers that Alex tried to kill himself to get away. That was enough to get my oldest son removed. So my youngest son is now repeating those same types of behaviors. That is his cry for help to get him out of there. And I
Mm,
can't believe all of these agencies and these police departments have done nothing. Oh, we're going to investigate. We're going to monitor. Okay, great. Well, in the meantime, while you do that, remove him and get him safe. I have places for him to be. There is a foster mother in Minnesota that can take him immediately, no matter what time of day or night. My
mm.
son's family, my tribe have already stepped up, and they said always, Nina, the minute that he is out of there, we're here for you. We're here for him. And I've researched all the best treatment centers out here that we can get him into for therapy to break those conditions. Are very big on the discipline, the support, the guidance, getting him back into school. We know he's on the spectrum. Gilbert, where I live, has now got autism awareness. They've got tons of programs out here now. The police department even has the pieces of the puzzle on the vehicles. I was like, yes, that's my team. So I know that when my son comes home, he's going to have a plethora of great things for him so that he can overcome this tragedy and grow to have a good, successful life. It is possible for our victims with all the right things in place. We just got to get them out of there, you know? And
You know, maybe there's you can put him as a police explorer too, and he'll be after the police department, be a great police officer.
yes,
Stop this nonsense from starting in the first place. Like
my
he has a lot of potential. Just out of the pictures, I like damn, he's getting abused, but he's a warrior, and he's gonna get out of there, and we're gonna make sure that happens. And
you
he's gonna have a great life. Coming like, come on, baby, you're mine.
Yes, you can see there's still fire in him and there's fight in him. This is why he's always in trouble because he stands up to them. He cusses at them, he spits at them back. Um, he has always been this way, very defiant. They cannot, they can't break him. I'm so proud of him being that fighter because that's what tells me they cannot mold him. They only can abuse him. um, so it's important and to make sure they get prosecuted, all of them. all of them need to go to prison and have to come home as registered sex offenders. Even that girl, she has been groomed and conditioned just like my ex, and she needs to be monitored because if she ever has children, guess what she's going to do?
Right back to the cycle.
Yes,
That's
because
sad. That's down. Right.
that's all she knows. And unless we hold them responsible and we get them prosecuted, they're gonna do it again and again and again. At When it comes to things like this, I do believe in chemical castration. I believe in removing their reproductive organs so that they cannot have any children. And if it's a woman, not to don't just tie her tubes because that can become undone. Okay, you need to do a hysterectomy, and this way it ensures that this incestuous cycle stops because they can no longer breed. Yep. Yeah, I've said that. I told my son, I said, we just get a hot poker, poke their eyes out, cut their tongues off, take off their fingers, cut their toes, and chemically castrate them, cut off everything, burn it, close it. I says, make them eunuchs. And then that way they have no stimulation for impulse. They
Right to the
can't hurt
victim.
anybody because they'd be paraplegics pretty much.
Hmm.
you know we waste a lot of money housing them. We waste a lot of money trying to reform them for what the statistics come
Special
back
security.
92.8% reoffend. So as we were discussing, the one percenters most likely are the ones that had um, indecent exposure type of charges. Those are the very low risk. And what's sad is we need to also change that level one sex offenders, even if it's indecent exposure, are put on the list. They have to register, but they're not on a list, so you don't know unless you pay to run their name.
Mm.
So if they get caught doing something that would be considered a level one, you cannot go into the sex offender registry and find them. They have to register their address with the sheriff and all of that stuff, but the general population does not know. So we're keeping our communities in danger by not giving them the information that they need. And like most people I know, um, we want to know. We need to know.
Hmm.
How are we going to be armed to keep our children safe if they're hiding information that is important for us to know? So
Absolutely.
that's another thing that I want to address on Monday with the Senate. Like there has to be more rights for the victims and for the communities than there is for offenders. The we've lost logical thought when we support their rights more than ours.
Oh yeah. And there's something that was brought to my attention. So for everybody that doesn't know yet, Nina actually got something really big coming up really soon. Something about I think she tried to say that she got this and she's gonna make her own podcast because the Diaz Task Force sucks and she's gonna do it better than us and so on and so on. But I think there's something like that is going on. Oh, was I drunk or dreaming about it?
No, no, I actually would love to do a podcast and take it to another level. So, the Diaz Task Force focuses a lot on the human trafficking, and I love that. That's what makes you guys super strong. And I wanted to bring in something bold and bright where I can do unspoken truths with survivors, victim stories, recovery, reform, people who have come home from prison and have made a huge impact and do really well so that we can have even arts and crafts. And I would like to be able to get one of those cameras where I can go out into my community and interview people and go and show all the great things that we have to offer here and what makes our country so great. All of the positive, the light, so that we have something hopeful and something great to focus on, that there is light after dark.
Oh yeah, that's why I actually offer you the opportunity. My humble offer was that, hey, you got we the DS task force does focus on the search and rescues and the pedophiles and all this crazy stuff, but we need somebody amazing as you. But at the same time, if I were to put you on shackles and you gotta do this, this, and this, it wouldn't work out because that wouldn't be being you. So my humble invitation to you was, why don't I sponsor you, help you, guide you, mentor you, so you can even make your dreams a reality and even take it to a higher level.
I'm
And
so excited. I am
yes,
so
yeah.
excited.
But so what your podcast network is gonna be called? Because I know that this is going on the show notes. This needs to be promoted. So everybody on Sirius XM, Pandora, Amazon Prime, iTunes, you got a whole thing coming. iHeartRadio, by the way, they already said yes. Um, you
Yay.
This is gonna be insane. I am really proud and honored to be able to help you to get there because you're not doing it, and it's not because of me. Your success is based on your hard work, your dedication, and the commitment that you're gonna put into everything that you are doing. And the audience get to gain great value and also not only learn, but you're gonna be a positive inspiration to everybody that is listening or seeing your videos as well, in which this is really exciting. Now, when it's gonna be your first episode, commitment, baby, here we go. Your first
Okay, so
episode, it's gonna be when? Because I'm putting the cameras, I'm gonna send everybody your way.
I reached out to a woman who lives in Minnesota, and she is a fighter. She's an amazing woman, and I asked her, and I'm waiting to hear back. And it will be close to also this topic. She went above and beyond. She is so courageous, and she helped to get justice for that little boy that was murdered. So my first one that I would like to do would be about a true crime that happened, and it also involves family members of my son, so it hits close to home. And we are going to show how one person can make a change and bring justice for the whole community. And the things that she did, and she had posted it, so I'll get the links for her TikTok page, mothers against pedophiles and stuff like that. And she had a
Right?
bullhorn, and she gathered her whole little mob, a good one, right? And she went and she would be using that bullhorn, and she brought attention to this woman who knew that these people had these problems, but she was more interested in getting her meth and getting high than protecting her 2-year old. And
Right.
that woman never got in trouble. Okay, so the the perpetrator was 16, and he
Mm,
got sentenced when he was 18 to life in prison.
okay.
Yes, I'm not sure if I hope that there's no possibility for parole.
Mhm.
But his father is related to my son's grandmother, so he's like an uncle, right? He has also got the same issues. So he groomed his son, and look what his son did. He raped and murdered a 2-year old. So this mother of the 2-year old, it was a woman that they targeted, brought drugs into so they could get to her children and treat her like a breeder. And she's so ignorant, she just doesn't see it. And the police failed to um, prosecute her for neglect. Like, that is neglect. I don't care. That's, you left your child with somebody that was a deviant, that everybody in the town knows that these members of these families have this issue, and it was more important to you to go be out running in the streets. Okay. I was very blessed and grateful when I was struggling. My mom was home with my children. I never left them with people like that. That's insane. Doesn't matter. There's no excuse, you know? And I was really ignorant in this subject. And now I'm an expert because I made it my personal mission to study and research this so that I could help others. And I do want to bring Angel on so that she can talk about what she does today. She ended up now working for the state, and she works in the mental hospital for these prisoners. And it's crazy because I had mentioned a name. She says, "That's one of my patients," you know? And I says, "That's another one of these family members." She's like, "Wow." So that's how deep in Minnesota, like that town of Jordan. It's not, it just is not in Jordan. It's in a few other towns, this cult, this type of insanity. And it's people like the Diaz task force, you, this woman, and myself, that we are the ones that are willing to go to the extra step, study both sides of the coin, and then make something happen for justice. Get something done so that another child does not get hurt, that men and women can get free from this type of lifestyle because we do have resources. Um, I noticed online, I belong to a group, and I think you know her, Susan Arcado.
Not
Susan,
familiar.
she runs a group called Modern Day Slavery and
Okay.
Human
Okay.
Trafficking.
Oh, Susan. Yes.
Yes.
I know who you're talking about now.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
on Susan's page, there's a lot of men and women that are adults that have reached out that they are stuck in a human trafficking environment, and
Mhm.
that they say they have gone to the police, they've asked the feds, they can't escape. They don't know what to do. So I'm going to be monitoring her page, and I'm going to get in touch with her. And anytime that I see somebody now that is saying that, I'm going to reach out to them and get the information and hand it over to the Diaz task force so that we can investigate and make sure. And if that's going on, we are going to go in there and we're going to get them out, and we are going to relocate them.
Absolutely. And tell Susan too that Dennis says hi.
I will.
For sure.
I
We love
will.
it.
Um,
She's awesome.
I do know that the U.S. Marshals, and I'm not sure about the feds. I believe that both of them, they do have a relocation opportunity, and you change your name, you get moved to another town. They also help you financially, and they set you up for success. So we go in, we find out, we verify that it's the truth and it's not no red herring to
Mhm.
waste our time, right? We do our due diligence. And if it really is somebody that wants our help, we'll go and get them. And
That's
I do know that here in Gilbert, I have several people on my block that are what I would call a sanctuary, right? They have left or fled these types of situations. One was being trafficked through the LDS church in Utah, and she now lives over here by me. So that's another person I'm going to ask to come on the podcast and talk
great.
about those experiences. And if they want me to use a blur for their face and alter their voice, I will. That's okay. I want to get their story out there to inspire others that they also can become free, that they
That's
don't have to live this way.
it's pretty much number one, all nothing but respect for my fellow African Americans or whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is, this is almost similar to the Underground Railroad. There were a couple good people that were back in the day trying to free this and protect the slaves and so on. In which I don't condone slave. We all know that's
Yes,
horrible. That's bad, really bad.
that's
Like
bad. I
that's
always say raise the fist,
insane.
you
But
know.
absolutely not. We're doing it something almost similar when it comes to people that actually are in human and sex trafficking, and which
Yes, it is
is a
slavery.
form of slavery as well. So I just wanted to bring that out because when you said that about, I believe, Ohio and so on, I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, it's like we got like a little underground network going on.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. The underground is the life force of our country. It
Literally,
really, really is.
people helping people.
Yes, we have to realize we have to work from the top to the bottom and everything in between to get things done. No stone unturned. It's an important cause. This mission is so important because there's too many out there suffering in silence. They don't know what to do and they're scared. So if they see other regular civilians like me, like the other men and women that I've met, that can talk about it, and they realize that there is a team out there are good people out there is a network to get them out and get them to a safe place where they can speak their truth and we can go in and get these people so it no longer happens. Like I was telling you and Tank, there is an issue that we have here that I am aware of, and it involves two churches, right? And I want us to be able to investigate. And I know because it was something I escaped from these men. And I know that they are still doing, because they don't really change. If they haven't been busted for it, they
Until
will
they
keep
get
working
busted.
that same route because that's their honey, right? So their vehicles might change, their victims might change, but their strategy stays the same. They're not that smart.
If it works, they'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
Right. And they'll keep doing it because it's been working. And I do know that there's some circumstances that have happened that might have put a dent, like if one of them has gone back to prison, but that doesn't mean the other ones, and they each one has their own MO, each one has their own tactic, each one has their own moves. And I want to make sure that we can monitor and keep an eye on them because there are children sometimes involved and they do utilize hotels. And what they will do is they've conditioned an adult, they have them like brainwashed, psychologically fucked up, that they don't even realize that they're aiding and abetting this type of problem. And unfortunately, they also need to be held responsible. If they are renting hotel rooms out for sex trafficking to go on, they are part of the problem.
Absolutely.
They're exposing their children to these predators and allowing them in their rooms. That's not okay. We need to nip it in the bud. There is a lot of attorneys out there. Everybody's aware that this stuff goes on, and people's lives are at stake. Our next generation is at stake. This is not something we can turn a blind eye to anymore. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered. That's what I love about this podcast.
Absolutely. We did it that way because I want everybody to be just be themselves and let it come out however in the hell you want it to come out. Because if I we start worrying about censorship and this and that, then the more you need to watch your mouth and see how you say things, the more you leave it behind. So I love it. And even with the warnings and saying, hey, we do have explicit comment and content in here. Um, the networks are like, listen, thank you for what you are actually doing. Come on in, you license. So I
Right,
highly appreciate all the networks that are allowing us to actually be able to do this and present you with the opportunity for you to also be able to be yourself and take something and make it into the greatest thing ever. And
right.
I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you. You're gonna do so great. And it's not because of me. Who am I? Nobody. It's gonna be all because of you. You did it, and I'm really gonna be happy with you. I'm gonna be your cheerleader out there
Thank
with
you.
pom poms and everything.
I'm so excited. I have so many ideas. And like I even told my mom, I says, one episode we can do arts and crafts and foods. I says it doesn't always have to be something heavy or a dark topic or a taboo. I says I also want to bring light and enjoyment and everyday living. I
Hmm.
says that I says because that's real life, mom. I says life changes, things grow. I says, in order to have a balance, I says, and the diversity, so that we can reach as many listeners and inspire and bring light into people's homes. I said, we'll have all kinds of topics, silliness, I've studied so much and I want to share that with everybody.
Your audience will get a lot of knowledge. I know you're gonna bring a lot of value, and they're gonna highly appreciate you. So I can't wait. But that means though, we have a lot of work to do. You
Yes,
have
I
a lot
know.
of homework. You have a lot of homework to do because everything is all on. It's all on you. It's all about you. It's your vision. So therefore, once I do send you on the link, and it's gonna be right after this, you get to actually start placing things and see how the system works and start getting those ideas. And the thing is, everything is actually real, everything is happening. So once we upload your first podcast, that's it, you're up to the network. So you got a lot of homework to actually do. I'm gonna be holding your hand all throughout the process, and but I'm really excited for you. And I'm actually gonna have my creative team as well do your once you got everything situated. I'm gonna have my creative department actually make you your flyers, your posters, your media packages, and so on to give you that little boost, and you start looking professional and legit and
Yeah,
this. That.
that's gonna be
So
so
I
cool.
can't wait. I
I
cannot.
know.
I'm
Um,
happy.
my son's work, they're awesome. It's a culinary place and they've been featured in magazines all over the world. They're a veteran owned and backed family. They're an amazing group of people. And I sent over an interview that I had done with Leslie, who created Leslie's Law, and she's like, you have so many people behind you. And that could be another thing that I do, is go and show the nightlife here in Gilbert, so that I, because it's a growing city and there's so many awesome things to come and do out here, and I want to rep my city big time. It's a beautiful place to be, and there it's changed so much since I bought my house here in 2009. When I moved back here from Cali, I'm from Cali, so we get hyphy, and
California.
I'm used to having diversity and screw racism and arts and crowd. And when I first moved here, that was not the way it is, and they were like really racist here. And I was like, oh no! And I showed up at the Parks and Recreation department for the town, and I was like, how come we don't have anything for the children out here? Why don't we have an art walk? Why don't we have? And they just looked at me like, who are you? And I was like, well, and now look, now we have farmers market and we have an art walk. Our canal is beautiful. We've got a theater here. We've got all kinds of awesome things. And I was like, because that's the vision. I said, we need to have different things to attract the right people here. And now it's an awesome place to be. It's expensive to live here. And we are rated one of the top 10 safest cities across the country for a reason. It's not just for the police department, it's because our civilians in our community stand up. We look
Right.
out after each other, and that's the way it should be.
Absolutely. So all the cities out there take note on how to do it right and keep everybody safe and have a whole lot of fun about it. Um,
Yes.
Nina, any final words for viewers so we can get down to business with all the good stuff that you got coming up? You got a long weekend. It's already you got a long weekend ahead
I
now.
know I have a lot of work to do. I
Oh
just want to
yeah.
say I'm so grateful and so thankful, and I'm really excited about this next step in these next chapters. And I can't wait to tune in again and let everybody know how the meeting goes on Monday at the Senate's office downtown. And we're going to be pushing Leslie's Law. And I want to thank everybody for the support, and especially you, Dennis, for having me on board and bringing me and being a part of this team. It is something I truly believe in with all my heart and soul.
It's my pleasure. I know great people want to see them, and you are one hell of an amazing woman. And
Thank
everything
you.
you, even after going through everything that you're still going through, and you can still be that beacon of light, and they dance and still fight and help other people fight as well. Like you are one of us.
Thank
So
you.
I
God,
just Wait.
God has given me that strength.
Oh yeah. Always
Because
thank God. This man.
yeah, I never realized how strong I was, and I says, you know what? It's because it's not me. It's because I rely on God. Um, God is the one who gets me through the storm. God's the one who pulls me up when I'm not feeling well and when I feel weak. He's the one who gives me the strength to keep pushing.
Actually, on 10 days that you're like, what that?
Yes. Oh, and I have those
We'll
days
get there.
when I had to when I sent you guys the emails and I have to reread those. Wow, you know, I'm just like, that is when I have a direct conversation with God and I go prayer walking, is what I call it. And
Mm,
that's exactly what I do, because if I have learned, and I've always knew since I was young, that I can put all my worries and all my emotions with our creator, and he will take care of me. He will handle it for me, because if I handle it, I'm going to end up in a bad place. I'm going to end up in prison. And I know that. So I have to turn it over, and then I focus on what I can do, what is in my control. And
mm.
being of service to others is what fuels me. That's also something I have learned, that's an amazing thing to do. Whenever I'm going, what the fuck? I go, okay, I
You
might not
know
be able to figure this out right now. So instead, I'm going to see what I can do to help others. Because when I help someone else, man, I feel great. Knowing
Oh
that
yeah.
I could help that person, I feel amazing. That's something that does it in our brain, and that gives us that value that we need to shine, you know?
Absolutely. And for everybody that been listening out there, thank you very much. Finally, it's Friday. Everybody be safe out there. Please don't drink and drive. You know better than that. And also, so we've been listening to the great Nina for an entire week now. And I'm sure you guys picked up a lot of value. Probably you learned a lot of things along the way. And now it's the weekend. And this is Easter weekend as well. So everybody have a great weekend. Please don't drink and drive and be safe out there because we all love you. And if you guys ever wanted to join forces with the Diaz Task Force, whether you have your own charity, your own organization, want to do a call up, or maybe you want to do a call up with Nina, her podcast is also gonna be on the show notes. So make sure you show it some love. We two different people. You know, it's not a competition. It's people literally helping people. That's the way it should be done in the first place. So therefore, make sure you guys show some love. Bother her a lot.
Yes,
Especially
please.
the DS Tax Force sent me to bother the crap out of you. Show some love. Make her busy, man. Especially starting now. Fresh me. But everybody, seriously, God bless you, families. We love you all. Thank you for listening all a week on this special that we did with Nina. And let's take it from there. And if you guys ever want to volunteer for the DS Task Force, you guys can call me directly at 203 You guys also can go on YouTube, Facebook, Google, you name it, and look for the Stack Force. On if you do search for the DS Stack Force, be also advised that you're gonna see Nina's um, information there as well. It's gonna be right in the post because we're gonna definitely help her out. She's doing a lot of great things. We will be collaborating in Arizona as well. So we got big things coming up. So Nina, again, thank you very much for being in the show. Thank you for accepting our humble invitation, and thank you for everything you do. Because with your help, we're gonna take this thing to a whole different level.
Yes, let's go. Yeah,
Absolutely,
everybody have a great
let's do
weekend.
this. Likewise.